Welcome to our spoiler review of The Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. It is coming out this August. It is probably almost out right about now. Yes. Now, if you haven't read book one, I recommend go back, read book one. It's called The Diviners. It's amazing.
If you have read book one, I still recommend you go back and read The Diviners before you read this one, just because it has been 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But
if you look at this thing, look at the page count on this thing, you can see why it took her 3 years.
It is long. But it's not long. It's one of those books where it looks really long and it looks kind of daunting and you're like, this is going to take me a good solid week. And then it's gone in like a day and a half and you start questioning your life choices.
So in this book, everybody's got their own issues, once again, that they're trying to work out. Evie has actually been outed to the world as a diviner, so now she has her own radio show and her own following.
I love the radio show sections. Like, it's kind of beautiful because it sounds exactly what I would assume it to sound like. Like, because they're like describing that there's the band in the corner, and so you got the announcer on the thing, and then he like motions over and they start singing, and just like, oh, it's so good.
She's got her own little theme song.
And they're like constantly like advertising this soap because it's the Pear Soap Hour. So it's like, if you value your complexion, Pear Soap is the only soap that you will ever need. It's, gee, are you going to talk all night, Mr. Foreman? Or am I going to do a little divining for these folks? And I'm just like, ah! So good.
You can feel just the beauty queens in there too.
Oh,
like,
so good.
Yeah. So Evie gets stuck in a publicity stunt where she is pretending to be engaged to Sam Lloyd, and that's like the last thing she wants. But Sam Lloyd is like, okay, fine, I'll help you with this publicity stunt, but I'm trying to find clues on my mother and where she had disappeared to, so you need to help me with that. And so lo and behold, they get stuck in what is probably a cliche way to start a romance, but it still works here because it's adorable.
I love Henry and Theta. Like, they like break my heart. They're like, like the best friends who are just like, oh, just how they talk to one another. It's like, you're still my best girl. And she's like, yeah. I'm just like, I love you so much.
Yeah, they just have this relationship where they
click. Like, she says at one point, like, Theta's having a hard time sleeping. She's like, hey, Hen, can I sleep in the same bed as you? And they describe, like, Libba Bray's like, oh, like, two sides of one person. And I'm just like, I want a best friend like that.
So yeah, they really depend on each other. Theta worries about him all the time. Henry is actually searching for his old lover, which he left at home in the south. He's been trying to find him in his dreams and reconnect with him, sent him letters and everything, but it hasn't been working out. So he ends up running into a new diviner named Ling,
who I also very much loved.
She's great. She's suffered a disease where she can't walk, but, in her dreams she can call back dead spirits and, get some information from them, so...
Because necromancy is a huge thing right now, guys. Just saying. Aww. No, I like her a lot, too, because she's very scientific-minded, and so she's looking for a scientific reason why her powers exist. And I thought that was a really cool, like, spin, because the first book was so focused on the mystical, and now science is coming in, and, name-dropping scientists, and Carl Jung shows up, and I'm just like, what?
That is weird. They come to him with this crazy story, and he's just like, so, sounds very interesting.
Have you ever heard of the collected unconscious? And I'm just like, I have!
And it's nice because, like, now you have Ling and Memphis, and they're two different sides of, like, racial prejudice in there. Mm-hmm. And, at one point she's like, yeah, the white people were talking and they shared a look and they're like, I get you. And you're like, oh god. Theta is trying to hide her diviner powers, and Memphis is actually just trying to deal with his relationship with Theta.
And his brother.
Yeah, and his brother too, because, introduction of a love interest is kind of disrupting their close relationship. So, in the meantime, there is a giant plague descending on New York City.
And it is so creepy.
It is very creepy. Because its roots are like the dark, or like rooted in this dark underbelly of the American dream and the people who kind of got stepped on the way to the top. And it's just this plague comes in and it's like shows you your happiest memories and, you know, like beautiful dream world, and they're like, dream with me.
And you're like, okay.
I promise. And then it just turns dark and evil.
If you fight it, it turns into a nightmare.
And you're just trapped in this nightmare as your body wastes away on the outside.
And like when you die, your spirit is still there and it's living in the subway and it's hungry and it just eats people.
So it's not good.
No.
And every second chapter, like between every chapter, there's just like this interlude where somebody gets eaten or like ends up getting stuck in a dream.
The truth behind it is so creepy. I kind of caught on to it really, really quickly, and I don't think Libba Bray really was trying to hide it.
No.
And I think that almost makes it worse for you. Because every time the characters go into the dream world, you're like, get out, get out, get out.
So basically what happens is there was this one girl who Ling ends up making friends with. She was Chinese. She was coming over, and she was coming over to get married, so she thought, but this organization who's bringing her over is actually just bringing her over to go serve a life of prostitution. She ends up getting like syphilis or something like that.
Addicted to opium.
And she ends up murdering the two guys who brought her over, but she gets stuck in this beautiful new example of a subway system the day that they board it up. So she dies in the subway, like gasping for air and just miserable. So she becomes this angry ghost. And it's interesting because they're like, no, you have to put the ghost down in the way their culture needs to.
Yeah, because it's like...
So you can't put an African ghost down the same way you would put a Chinese ghost down,
because
or
it has
a
to,
Southern
like,
ghost
what
down.
they think, you know, it's and like Carl Jung comes into it because he's talking about like the dark side of a person, like the repressed unconsciousness, and how like the Ghost Waimei is a perfect example of this, because there's a slide that Henry and Ling encounter where she's like young and she's happy and she's fun. And it's like, oh, you know, dreams are great, and they think that she's just like this naive dream walker who's coming over on the boat. And then there is her like 7 years down the line when her life has been completely destroyed and she's just this misery ghost wearing this veil and she's creepy as hell and
and then on the other side you've got these two co-optive government agents who are wandering around doing stuff and strangling people, I guess, who they think
are diviners.
Or not diviners, actually. It's weird. I don't know what they're doing. Then there's also the man in the stovepipe hat who's
gonna give me nightmares.
And he's walking through and he's clearly gaining more power, but we still don't know what he wants.
The one subplot that really, really got to me, if I'm gonna focus on one thing, is the blind guy. Because he also scares the crap out of me. Yes. And you kind of start to finally get some of his backstory. Bill is currently living with Memphis in Asaya, and he's blind, and he really wants Memphis to heal him, but Memphis is like, oh, I can't anymore, like, I can't do it, and he knows that he can, and he's trying to just figure it out, and he tells Asaya this story about this prince who had very strong magic, who could, like, kill people when it was their time, or kill things when it was their time, so, like,
well, it wasn't when it was their time. It was he could kill them, like, gently.
Yeah.
So he would use it on, like, animals if they'd been injured beyond repair as, like, a mercy killing.
And these shadow men approach this prince and are like, this man here is a bad man. Kill him.
And the guy's like, no, not gonna do it.
And then he does. And a curse falls upon him. And it's implied that this is the storyteller, like, the prince is him, and I'm just like, what did you do, man? Like,
and so his sight gets taken away, and he needs Memphis to heal him. Number one, he's got debts, and number two, I think he kind of wants revenge.
Yeah.
And you want this guy to be likable, but you know in the end he's going to do whatever he has to in order to get his way.
And he, even himself, is confused with what he wants, because he's manipulating these kids, and as he manipulates these kids, he's having these glimmers of guilt, but it's not stopping him.
Yeah. So, you know, he's kind of sympathetic, but in the end, he's damning himself, and he knows it. And he creeps the hell out of me as well. Oh,
so creepy.
You also get more of Henry's backstory.
I love Henry.
He ended up falling in love with a southern boy back in his home, and his father was very rich and very powerful, and he didn't like that, so he ended up, like, you know, just saying, like, don't you dare go near this kid. Henry ends up running away, but unfortunately his father's goons find the kid and accidentally kill him. But no.
Oh, it's like awful. It's so awful. Your heart just breaks, and I just,
It's just...
This book is like being repeatedly terrified and then punched in the gut. That, like...
Oh, God. And then Sam on his quest to find his mother.
Tragic Buffalo. What's your theory? Because I think that they've kind of planted these diviners. Like, they've some kind of serum thing, because Henry's mother is like, blames the vitamins. Like, you're this way because of the vitamins kind of deal. And she's gone kind of crazy.
I don't know about that, though, because they're looking for the diviners, but they can't seem to find them anywhere. So you'd think they would know.
I feel like they've kind of planted seeds, and now they're going around being like, which ones worked and which ones didn't. And they're going, like, I think maybe that the girl that they killed, the two shadow agent dudes, she was one of the possibilities, but she didn't turn out, so it's like, let's get rid of all the evidence. That's kind of how I can see it going. That's one of my theories. So do we want to talk about the big guns?
Is that the love triangle?
Yes, the love triangle.
The thing that gets us all
the
going.
The love triangle of doom.
So in the last book, Evie and Jericho's relationship was the highlight. You know, they just fit. They were good together, and you just wanted them to be together so bad. And you know, she kind of had this thing for Sam Lloyd, even though she was like, I hate that guy. I totally fucking hate that guy. But you're like, no. These two are perfect for each other. Jericho and Evie, done deal. Please just leave it at that. But of course...
If Jericho's heart is annihilated, I will cut a bitch. Like, I will defend him to the end of time. Like, I like Sam. I do like Sam. But the problem with Sam and Evie is they're too similar.
Exactly.
That they can't fit together.
Like, it's not their good traits that are similar, it's their bad traits.
Where Jericho and Evie balance each other out. Like, they magnify what's good about the other.
And so I just want it. And he's so sweet and he's so kind, and swear to God, if they don't end up together, I'm just gonna lose all hope and love. That's it.
That's it?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Does not exist.
Chunk of ice for the rest of your life in your chest?
Yep. I'm gonna be in a million pieces, and ice is the only thing that is gonna be able to put my heart back together. I can't do it.
Other things I loved, the random, like, throwback to the Gemma Doyle trilogy. What?
I texted you too, and
I
was just like, oh my God.
I got so excited because I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna run into Gemma Doyle, and then they're in a post office, and like, oh, something about a package, and I'm like,
it's from Felicity, and it's for Miss Gemma Doyle something, and you're like, what? I know those names. Oh my God, Gemma got married. Oh my God, she's in New York. They're interacting. This is the same world, guys. This is the same world. Who would have saw that coming?
The other radio star, she scares me too. I don't know what it is about, like, hardcore fundamentalism. She is not gonna be good news next book. Her, like, call to action to, like...
practically burn all the diviners. Just Sarah, what's her face? And just
Sarah Snow, I think.
Burn in a hole and die. Nope. And I hate that she's gaining traction. And it's just, no, it's breaking my heart.
I love all the slang.
I love everything about this book. But the one thing I didn't like so much was Evie's kind of breakdown at the end.
Yeah.
Because that was painful in its own happy, unhappy way.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, first of all, let me say, all my complaints are worthless because character development, but I'm still gonna complain anyways because, hey, it's my show.
She just, by the end of the book, when they're about to go for the final confrontation, before the final confrontation, they're doing this fundraiser because the museum is on its last legs. They don't have enough money to keep it open. They're going to use Evie's star power to throw this party to make all this money, and they have this huge exhibit plan for history of diviners and yada yada yada. And Sam is just like, if you want me to do this for you, you need to A, help me with Project Buffalo, and B, help me save the museum. And Evie's like, fine, whatever, okay. The day of the museum party is, she doesn't show up, and Sam goes to another party and finds her, and she's just like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do it. And I'm just like, you are letting down all of your friends.
Like, everybody who was important to your life.
And it's just like, no, like, I want life to be a party. I never want that to stop. And I was just like, no. Ugh.
The way she says it sounds more convincing, and like it brings up a bit of sympathy. But then you go back to like the real problems where shit is going down back at this party, and you're like, Evie's not even going to show up to this. Like what? Like she's more than letting everybody down.
And then she shows up and she's drunk off her ass.
And you're just like, oh. And then she's like, what about me?
And they're like walking through the sewers, and there are monsters in the sewers, and she's screaming and yelling, and I'm just getting more and more frustrated because and then I'm like, maybe this is like a super smart thing because the main character is no longer the center of attention, and everybody's doing stuff that's important, and there's the main character being like, hey, I thought this was my story. Come over here. I'm important.
Just like, nope, moving on now.
No, I want to see what's actually happening. I want to know my, like, supernatural stuff. Like.
So, there was that.
That's, like, my only complaint. And that's only annoying for, like, the last 40 pages of the book.
And, like I said, character development.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, she now has to redeem herself rather than just floating on an even keel throughout the whole thing. So, as much as we complain and cry, good job.
So if you haven't read this book series, you totally should.
It's a ride.
It's so good.
I can just say it's so good forever.
Yeah.
Read it. It's out very, very soon. If it's not out already, depends when you're watching this. But it is totally worth whatever you have to spend to get your hands on it. Whatever you have to push out of the way. Fight for it. Subscribe, guys!